Muddy Creek Rapids. I'm David Gerling, and today we're going to talk about picking a breeder. We assumed after watching the other videos you've got your pen, got all your equipment, figured you're going to get Rex. So now you're looking, where should I get them? Well, nowadays there's lots of outlets that weren't available to us years ago. You've got different types of social media. The internet will help you track down breeders real good, or you could go the old-fashioned route and go to rabbit shows, which is what I recommend. So this is Herman. He's learning how to pose, so he's going to be joining us today. He's about 3 months old, not quite. He's still learning how to sit and throwing himself forward. So he's about the age, if you're going to show a rabbit, I would start looking at. If you get them too young, you have no idea what they're going to be like. If you get them older, they ought to be being bred instead of being shown. So how do you decide who to get a rabbit from? As I said, I recommend going to a rabbit show, not even expecting to buy a rabbit the first time or two you go to a show. It'll involve time and traveling, but looking at rabbits and getting to know breeders is the best way to ensure you get a good quality rabbit and not go through headaches and heartaches and frustration. So first thing you go when you go to the show is you find whichever breed you want to watch or want to breed is getting judged. And most of the time, you sit, stop pushing. Yeah, I know, you're a buck. Most of the time the breeders of that specific breed will be near that judging table. Talk to some of the breeders, tell them that you're new to rabbits and that you're looking to get into Rex or whichever other breed you decide. And then watch the judging. See who does what in the classes. See how their rabbits look. Watch how they're judged. So one, you know what they're looking for, and two, you know what your breeds are looking for. Watch which breeders get DQ'd and for why. Everybody gets DQ'd now and then. It's not a big deal, most of the time. So I screw up sexes on a semi-regular basis because I check them at 8 weeks and forget to check them again before I show or tattoo. Sometimes you get a color you don't know for sure what it is and either show it or enter it in the wrong color. Sometimes it could be your ear tattoos illegible. Or it could be something more serious. It could be malocclusion, which is when the teeth don't line up right. Or bloody sore hocks, which means that the rabbit's pen either hasn't been cleaned or the breeder is not keeping track of how the rabbit's health's doing. Or something even more serious, such as some type of disease like snuffles is a big one. Snuffles is a respiratory problem that is highly contagious and is characterized by white mucus discharge from the nose, and on the forepaws the fur will often be wet and matted and discolored if it's a lighter color from the rabbit wiping its nose like you would with your hand if you've got a really runny nose. And there is no cure for it. Now this is probably going to get me flamed, but I don't care. And if you disagree with me, my email's down below and I'll tell you why I'm right. Snuffles needs to be put down out of your barn. It's a sick rabbit. There is no cure. The vaccines for it are not 100% proven effective. And all you do by breeding and masking the symptoms, which a lot of breeders do, is contribute to weakened genes and ruining the breed. Unfortunately, Rex have developed a reputation for having a weak immune system because there is a number of breeders that would rather win than raise healthy rabbits. So that is one thing when you're watching, if a judge disqualifies a rabbit for nasal discharge, especially if that same breeder has several disqualified for the same reason, that would be your breeder not to look at. I don't care how good their rabbits are. Or if you go to a barn and you see jars of whatever type of medicine, that's another warning sign. So you're at the table and you're watching rabbits being judged. Watch what varieties you like. Sometimes looking at them in pictures or on YouTube or whatever, you might decide, hey, I like the tricolors. But you get to where you are, tricolors there aren't that good or not at all. Talk to the breeders after the judging. Don't do it while they're judging. Talk to the breeders. See if they know anybody who raises tricolors they could recommend. There's several Facebook groups. Tricolor Rabbit Rex Breeders would be a good one I would recommend. To either learn more about tricolors or to find a breeder in your area or an area you wouldn't mind driving to. Some breeders will offer transport to a local show or will meet you. Others will say transport is up to buyer. I don't like dealing with transporters just because I want to make sure that the buyer that's buying the rabbit knows what they're getting, knows the quality of the rabbit when it leaves my barn. And that way if they have any health or any other issues, we know it's not the middleman. It's either from my barn, which is rare, or unfortunately when transporting rabbits sometimes something happens. And you do not want to sit at all today, do you? So when you start getting young rabbits, you got to work with them. Some are easier to pose than others. He's one that doesn't want to pose. And hopefully it's just because you see me putting my hands between his, don't you nibble me, hands between his legs, that's to make sure there's no defects in the breastbone that would either make it narrow or misformed to where he wouldn't want to sit. So talk to breeders, talk to judges. A lot of judges, after they're done judging the breed, are more than happy to answer any questions you have about the breed in general. Sometimes they might even point you to a local breeder that they trust to teach right. So that would be your first show. The second show, go and see how if it's in the same state or same locality, it'll probably be the same group of breeders, maybe one or two different. And watch again, see how they do again. See if they're DQ'd for the same reasons, or if it's something that was correctable, it was corrected, such as an ear tattoo or wrong color. One thing to watch for as you go to multiple shows is to make sure that the breeder is culling the rabbit, not the judges. And what I mean by that is the first show, say they have 5 otter junior bucks. When you go through and they're all the same age, and the breeder might even say this is one litter. Next show, they've got 3 otter junior bucks. And they're letting the judges whittle down as to what they keep. Now I have the utmost respect for most judges, but breeders need to be able to cull their rabbits. If they can't cull their own rabbits, unless you're really good and can pick out the culls that they shouldn't be getting rid of, you don't know what quality you're getting. And they may point you in the wrong direction as far as what you should be buying. Put your shoulders down where you belong, pest. So, another thing is, if they were DQ'd for health reasons the last time, are those same rabbits still there? Are they more worried about winning than infecting everybody else's rabbits? Another thing is, look to see as rabbits get older if they're actually moving up in a class. Rex need to be bumped up to seniors at 6 months old. If they don't make weight, which is minimum of 7.5 pounds for bucks and 8 pounds for does, in my opinion, at 6 months, that's the cutoff point. Some breeders will say 8, some will say whatever age. I would not recommend that. And again, that may get me flamed, but that's my personal opinion. Some lines really do take 8 months to get senior weight. And if that's the case and you know it and you're comfortable with it, that's one thing. But some breeders, unfortunately, will show the same rabbit as a junior for a year or so because it is a really good rabbit. Well, if it doesn't make weight, it's not a really good rabbit because it's not meeting standards. We'll talk about that in our next video, which will be sorting on a litter. I've already got the litter picked for that variety or for that video, so we'll go to that. Now you're sitting down. So just watch breeder ethics. That's a big thing to me. We're just here to raise this breed and variety till the next generation. My children are already showing an interest in rabbits. My 8-year-old would love very much to have the tricolors. So we're just here to ensure that the next generation of breeders has better rabbits than what we started with. And if breeders are more worried about winning in the short term than improving the actual breed and variety, then they may not be who you want to buy from, because it's not all about winning rabbits. It's about improving and contributing to the future. So what are some other warning signs not to look for? And then we'll get into what to look for. Dirty pens. It shows carriers, lots of shapes, varieties, sizes. Cleanliness is what you're looking for. Somebody may not have the money to go out and buy matching carriers that'll hold a dozen rabbits and look like a professional setup. They may have bought a cage here and a cage there. They may be mismatched. They may be hand-me-downs. Quality of the cage isn't what I'm talking about here. Type of cage isn't what I'm talking here. It's the cleanliness of the cage. If it looks like it's been upstairs in a barn for 8 months and they just pulled it out and threw a dirty rug in it so the rabbit isn't sliding around on the plastic, may not be the best idea to go for. Or even if it is one of these professional setups that has sets cages with the side doors where they won't roll it around on the wagon and just pull out their nicely marked pens or rabbits out of their pens. If you look in and the trays have manure built up in the pile and haven't been cleaned since 1893 and there's cobwebs all over the pen, again, just because they can spend the money for this nice professional setup doesn't mean you might want to buy a rabbit from them. Bottles, I've seen water bottles at shows that were so green you couldn't see through them. I've seen feed dishes with feed compacted and moldy that the breeder didn't think about getting out of. Another thing to watch for, and it really bothers me when I see people at shows, and especially selling on different websites where you've had the time and you know you're going to take a picture of this rabbit, is hutch stain. And I wish I had one to show you, but unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't. Even my brood does, which I have white brood does, I have Californian brood does, and I have broken brood does, do not have hutch stain. Hutch stain simply and would be, depending on the severity, a yellow stain along the bottom part of the rabbit to severely, sometimes it's the entire white rabbit. I've seen Californians that were yellow instead of white. It's caused by unclean cages. Sometimes if you have two bucks next to each other, they'll spray each other, but that won't be a huge stain. That'll be, obviously they got sprayed. People will say, well, you can't get hutch stain in wire pens. Well, yeah, you can. A lot of people use urine guards around the sides of the pens, and they don't ever wash them, so when the urine guards do what they do and direct the urine from splashing outside to down in the pan, and the rabbit leans up against them, you get a yellow rabbit. So if they aren't taking the time to clean their cages and clean the rabbits, again, that may be a warning sign that maybe the rabbits aren't well taken care of. Another warning sign is if you get to the show and they have a huge crate of 6-week-old Rex or whichever breed, and you see a big sign that, for instance, show rabbits $30 with pedigree, $10 without, as we also see this online, especially on Craigslist. Again, I would recommend getting about a 3-month-old rabbit to start showing, or even if you're going to just breed. I don't like showing rabbits I bought. And you need to sit, not come see me. So those are some warning signs. Now what should you look for to breeder? Rabbits that are acting like him. He may need to sit, but he's obviously not scared of me. He's obviously doesn't mind me handling him. I can pick him up. He's not kicking too much. He's nice and clean. You can see with the amount of white on him, there's no discoloration. Even his feet, you can see, are pretty much white. Yeah, I know you didn't like that, did you? No sneezing. If you guys have spent a lot of time on my videos in my barn, there's no editing here, as you can tell by the chickens crackling and tractors and stuff you hear in the background. There's no sneezing here. There's no rabbits hacking anything. Make sure the rabbits are in good condition. Again, I wish I could show you, but fortunately I don't have this issue. When you grab a rabbit, he's still young, so he's got a little bit of baby fat on him, but you shouldn't be able to grab him by the side and get skin. At the same time, you shouldn't pose him and be able to feel every bump on his spine and every rib. You want a nice, fleshy, firm rabbit. Remember, Rex were originally a fur and meat breed. They should be nice and firm and solid throughout. If you don't understand that and you have a question, go ask a New Zealand breeder, go ask a California breeder to feel one of their rabbits. That'll show what a good solid Rex should look like. Now go take that and look at what Rex are available. There's Rex out there just that type, but having a different breed to compare to sometimes helps. Talk to the breeders. Some will tell you, I didn't bring any rabbits to breed, but what are you looking for? If it's not a variety they have, they may tell you who to go talk to. If it's somebody, well, I don't have that color, but would you be interested in this color? They may be trying to help you. One thing to watch out for is, well, you can't win with this color. You have to show this color to win. That may not be the best breeder to buy from because they're trying to sell their rabbits. They're not trying to help you pick what you want to raise. So like I said, showing isn't about winning. Showing's about improving the breed, having fun, meeting new people. If all you're going to do is want to win, there's cheaper and other things to do than rabbits, because you could show the same rabbit at a show under 4 different judges. I've done it myself, where that same rabbit could be best of breed, first off the table, DQ'd, and middle of the class all at the same show, because each judge looks at different things. So you're not going to find a rabbit that's 100% guaranteed winner, which is another thing I hear. So breeders are a good source, but you need to find a good breeder. Now, how do you tell if you found a good breeder after you look through all these checklists that I just gave you and you're online? Well, some of my pet peeves, and I'm going to direct this at breeders. Youth and new breeders are not a dumping ground for garbage rabbits. That gets me going like you wouldn't believe when I see a rabbit ad, whether it's on Craigslist, on a Facebook breed site, from a breeder themselves. Decent show rabbit some faults would make excellent 4-H or youth rabbit. Well, no. There's no reason that a youth can't have good rabbits. Giving them junk will only discourage them. And the youth, new breeders, 4-H kids are not there for breeders to sell their meat rabbits to for $100 a piece. We should be encouraging new and youth breeders, not using them to make money off of, especially if they don't know what they're looking for and they're trusting you as an established breeder to help them. Another thing to look for on ads that maybe isn't the best person to sell from is best rabbits in my barn. I've seen people say that to prospective buyers, that this is the best rabbit in my barn. Well, if it is, why are you selling it? If they say I'm getting rid of my rabbits, and obviously you can see that they're downsizing if they've got carriers and equipment for sale, well, maybe it is the best rabbit in their barn. Maybe they are trying to get a new person going. But if they've got 6 or 7 pens of sale cages and some of the other red flags such as dirty pens or litters of young rabbits for sale for show, and well, this is my best rabbit. Well, they may just be telling you that so that you think it's a good idea to buy that rabbit. So, and lastly, another thing to watch out for, not necessarily a bad or misleading thing, this is the best rabbit in a litter. And we've talked before, and I'll show you next week when we're sorting a litter, because I haven't actually sorted it, so it'll be a surprise for all of us. That just because it's the best rabbit in a litter doesn't mean it is a good rabbit. There's nothing wrong with a breeder junking an entire litter because those two rabbits might not have matched up. Especially if you start breeding tries, or if you start working on one of the marked varieties such as Rhinelanders or Checker Giants, where markings are specific, or with the tries you're looking for a specific pattern. Sometimes genes don't line up. Sometimes genes don't line up in that litter. So either breed them again, or if you don't like it, breed them to somebody else. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with looking at a litter saying, this litter isn't worth it. Meet it, pet it, pelt it, whatever you do with your rabbits that aren't show worthy. Don't sell them to new breeders. Don't say this is the best rabbit in a litter and then have a 4-H kid take it to their 4-H leader and say this was the best rabbit in the litter, and the leader looks at it like, why is it even at a show? So there's one thing that I want all new people to realize, and even established breeders, because I see this issue a lot. Just because you can show it doesn't mean it should be shown. There's a difference between showable and show worthy. And the next couple litters I'm going to try to teach you the difference. But thank you very much. As I said, always feel free to email me questions, comments, concerns below, and visit us on Facebook at Muddy Creek Rabbits. And thank you. Have a great day.
Hi, my name is Logan Gerling, and this is
What's her name?
This is Quinn, and she is a junior doe.
What color is she?
She is a
Don't look at me. You just told me what she is.
Harlequin,
Harlequin what?
Rex, and she is too young to breed right now, and this color is not showable in Rex. So once she's old enough to breed, I'm going to breed her, and I'm going to have a video on sorting through a litter like my dad does, and see what I get out of her. And
What colors are you trying to get out of her?
tries and more Harlequins to breed back to her.
So what color are we going to breed her to get tries and Harlequins?
we're gonna breed her to a try or another, yeah, a try.
Or what's the other color Daddy said you could breed to her? Do you remember?
Red or a red to breed to her.
Now, what do you have to breed to her to get showable tries? Do you have to breed, can you breed solids to her, or do you have to breed brokens?
You gotta breed a broken Harlequin, which is a try, and you should get at least one, if not more, tries in the litter of rabbit.
Now, why do you want tricolors?
I want tricolors because they look good. They look real good to me, and it's also one that's kind of tough to get. And I've been working with rabbits for 5 or 4 years now, so I'm ready to take on the challenge to get tries.
Now, if people are watching this video, what should they do at the end of the video?
And please comment at the end of this video.
What else should they do?
Subscribe to this video and give it a thumbs up.
And what channel is this? What's Daddy's Rabbit Barn?
Muddy Creek Rabbitry.
What do you say?
Bye, guys.